Hi guys, welcome! I'm your Dungeon Master DMPaulG, and today we'll be talking about some really exciting news. Wizards of the Coast released information about their next Dungeons & Dragons book. It's right there. It's Mordenkainen's Tome of Foes. Look at that. Very beautiful cover right there. It was actually revealed during the fireside chat at D&D's Twitch channel with Nathan Stewart and Mike Merles yesterday. And it's not just this cover that they actually showed. They showed another cover. Let me see if I can put it there. There you go. It's a special cover like in Volo's Guide to Monsters and Xanatar's Guide to Everything. This one will also have a special cover as well. If you actually go to the Penguin Random House website, let me see if I can put it here. 1, 2... There you go. Alright, so if you go to Penguin Random House website, they actually had a description for the book and other information as well. So let's look at that. It'll be priced at $49.95. It's US dollars. It'll be released on May 29th this year, 2018. It will have 192 pages, but on Jeremy Crawford's tweet, he said that this book will have 250 plus pages. 256 if I'm right, but you can expect it to be from 192 to 256, which is a lot of pages, so that's gotta be a good book once it comes out. Also here, what it says on the cover: discover the truth about the great conflicts of the D&D multiverse and the supplement for the world's greatest role-playing game, which is Dungeons & Dragons, of course, nothing else. But more of a detailed description, it says, this tome is built on the writings of the renowned wizard from the world of Greyhawk. That's right, this guy is not from the Forgotten Realms, he's not from Toril, he's from Greyhawk, gathered over a lifetime of research and scholarship. In his travels to the other realms and other planes of existence, he has made many friends and has risked his life an equal number of times to amass the knowledge contained herein. In addition to Mordenkainen's musings on the endless wars of the multiverse, the book contains game statistics for dozens of monsters, new demons and devils, several varieties of elves and Durgar, and a vast array of other creatures throughout the planes of existence. So, lots of juicy information here. Let's kind of absorb that a little bit. Let me just calm down for a second. If you guys don't know who Mordenkainen is, he's actually a character played. He made this character made by Gary Gygax. So he made this, he played with it, and in turn it became an iconic NPC in the Dungeons & Dragons lore. So now he has traveled to different planes and he has created this particular tome for us. So, let's go into this a little bit more and see how this will actually affect Dungeons & Dragons Adventurers League. What is it, what will be the impact once this book is out? Well, let me go back to the cover here. It's just so pretty. And there you go. So, what will happen here once Mordenkainen's Tome of Foes is out? Well, since it's an official Wizards of the Coast book, there's a 99.99% chance that this will be a legal source book for AL play. There's also talks about, well, you saw in the description that there will be elves and Durgar. There's a possibility that this book will actually cover racial stats as well for new elves, new races. Although Mike Merles said that this will not be a Monster Manual 3 book, Volos being the second. From the looks of it, since we're going to get game statistics from demons and devils, and big chance that we're going to have racial stats as well available, or race information here in this book, it might have the same format as Volos. That is the speculation that's going on right now. There's also they tell you that more information will come out on the D&D channel, Twitch and YouTube. It will come out on Monday, so check that out. see if what's Mordenkainen Tome is all about. But anyway, back to all this. How it affects AL. If it will have a new racial traits or information, then that means it will be part of the PHB plus 1 rule. That means Player's Handbook plus 1 legal resource book, which in this case you could use Mordenkainen. If you have watched the Unearthed Arcana videos or you've checked it on the D&D website, there is an Unearthed Arcana for the Eladrins, which is the elves of the Feywild. They're not from Forgotten Realms, and there's a big chance that they will show up here if playtesting went great. Gityakis, who's also part of the same Unearthed Arcana, might show up here as well, since they're not from this native plane. Also, next, new monsters and spells from magic items might come out. This might change the meta of Adventurers League. You might see more spells like Planar Ally coming out. Planar Binding. If your Dungeon Master starts putting thematically appropriate monsters and replace it with the new demons or devils from this particular book, then more players will want to get those demons or devils and take advantage of those, especially if they have really good stats, good challenge rating, and have a special trait that is beneficial in combat. So watch out for that. Dungeon Masters and players alike, you can go ahead and start, making those classes that can cast Planar Binding, Planar Ally. Also, since Sanatar's Guide to Everything is out, expect more characters casting summon lesser or greater demon spell. Infernal Calling if you want to summon devils, although please, I don't recommend that unless you want to die. But yeah, of course, players will cast it, characters will cast it, and expect it more on your table once this book comes out. Also, in terms of magical items, Amulet of the Planes. Will there be a change in terms of planar travel? Right now, if you get transported to a different plane and you don't have the means to cast a spell to go back to your native plane, you have to spend 50 downtime days to go back. But with all this, with the talks about going to different planes, going through different realms, how will that work? So there. Also, to the adventurers that I call the Pokemon hunters of Dungeons & Dragons, more specifically in Adventurers League, those who have a special item, a legendary item called the Iron Flask. If we're gonna see some new cool toys in the forms of demon monsters or devil monsters, except those adventurers who have the Iron Flask to catch those demons or devils. So Dungeon Masters, prepare for that as well. So you will see an increase in trades, since in Adventurers League it's legal to trade from one player to another, or one character to another, as long as it's in the same rarity. So Iron Flask, Amulet of the Plains, those kind of things will increase in terms of trade requests. Also, speaking of Xanatar's Guide to Everything, there is a class there that might see more play once Mordenkainen's Tome of Foes comes out. The Horizon Walker Ranger. The flavor just fits right in when we start discussing the multiverse. They're the ones who can sense if there's a problem in different planes or in the native plane, and they're the ones who can harness that energy as well. So the flavor-wise, lore-wise, characters, you will see more characters that have that particular class. Players now have more knowledge on how to use or how to roleplay this particular class. So expect that. Also, how about the deities in the player's handbook? Right now, we are restricted to the Forgotten Realms deities and also the non-human gods list in the player's handbook. With this coming out, will we be allowed, finally, will the clerics be allowed to use the other gods listed in the player's handbook? There is a possibility that it will be allowed. So let's wait till this book comes out in May. But there you go. So those are things that might affect Adventurers League once Mordenkainen's Tome of Foes comes out. Some of them may be correct, all of them might be wrong, but these are the speculations that are out right now. Also, speaking of speculations, spoilers, by the way, major spoilers. If you don't want to hear any of things we're gonna talk about from season 1 to season 7, I suggest you press stop now. But if you're okay with it, continue anyway. I'll just stare at Mordenkainen for 2 seconds. Alright, there you go. So, story. What will be the next adventure story? Season 7 is right now is Tomb of Annihilation. Season 8, what will that be about? If you have watched the latest episode of Lore You Should Know on the D&D channel, Greg Tito and Chris Perkins talk about 2 things. Mordenkainen, just right there, that beautiful guy over there, and the Blood War. The Blood War is basically the demons being able to infinitely spawn in the lower plane of the abyss. The devils don't want it because their leader, Asmodeus, what the demons are doing is basically in conflict to what he wants to happen. He waged war on the demons, and in return, the demons retaliated. So there you go. But anyway, if you want to know more about that, I'll leave a link down below. The problem here is, or not the problem, but the clue here is when Chris Perkins is talking about the Blood War and discussing the first layer of hell, which is where most of the fighting goes on for the demons and the devils, he discussed that the leader of the first layer of hell is actually Archduchess Zariel, who was previously an angel turned devil. Now she's the leader of the first layer of hell. And start discussing how the beings from the upper planes doesn't really care about what's going on in the lower planes, the abyss, the plane of the abyss and the 9 hells. Let them fight each other. We don't care. But while Chris Perkins is talking about that, about angels versus devil going on, Greg Tito kind of stopped him and said that, this will be a great discussion on our next Lore You Should Know episode. So, why is that? Why did they stop there? I mean, they were very open in terms of discussing the lore in the Blood War, but when Chris Perkins started talking about angels and devils or demons, it was stopped, and it will be discussed further on. Most probably because there's a good chance that the next adventure will be about that. Good chance. So, if that's the case, we'll all be happy. And is it just a coincidence that right now in Adventurers League, in the DM quest reward, if you run all the modules and the hardcover, you can get an Aarakocra, which is from the plane of elemental air, and also a winged tiefling. Level 5, you get that if you complete that particular DM quest reward. A race that has devil blood. How convenient, So there's that, something to think about. It might just be a coincidence, it might be nothing, but there's a big chance it will be like an angel versus devil versus demon thing. Another theory that they have here is they said that it will be about the Spelljammers, the Planescape, but there's no hard evidence of that. There's just rumor, and they might say that it will be the Modrons, something. It is a big possibility because if you look at all the adventures from season 1 to season 7, it happens in the Forgotten Realms, but the conflict is caused mostly by something from a different plane. Season 1, Rise of Tiamat. Tiamat is trapped in 9 hells, released by the dragon cultists, and then the great adventurers pushed her back to her prison in 9 hells. So, that's one. Season 2, Princes of the Apocalypse. The princes are basically from the elemental planes. They're not from the Forgotten Realms. Season 3, which is the demons from the storyline Out of the Abyss, literally from the lower plane of the abyss. And if you actually read the story or you've run through it, then you'll know that there's a part there where the Modrons are present. Modrons are beings from the plane of Mechanus. And every 289 years, they go on this great Modron march where they go from Mechanus to every other plane in the multiverse. And during the last march, some of the Modrons got trapped in the Underdark. If the players were really good at doing history checks or befriending some of these Modrons, then they get the information that the last Modron march happened over 200 years ago. Great Modron March happens every 289 years, and the last one happened over 200 years. Coincidence? We don't know. So this might be another hook that Wizards of the Coast can use to cause conflict in the Forgotten Realms or to transition characters, players into this new storyline outside or to a different plane. So there you go. There's also talks about Out of the Abyss being first out of two story. Out of the Abyss being about the demons coming out, and then the second story is supposed to be the devils trying to take over the surface world. So once the demons are causing chaos in the Underdark, before the Avengers actually successfully place them back from where they belong, then the devils are supposed to come in from the surface world, and then boom, they meet halfway and cause chaos in the Forgotten Realms. We don't know if that's still gonna happen. It might happen, since there is a possibility that the theme for our next adventure, it will be Angels versus Devil versus Demons. We don't know. Mind blown, right? So there, season 4 is the land of Barovia for Curse of Strahd happened in the demi-plane of the Dread. This story is not in the Forgotten Realms at all. So it's also the place where you can see, again, spoilers, this guy. There you go. So he's actually trapped in Curse of Strahd in the demi-plane of Dread. Things have happened to him, and now that's why he's trapped there, and he will tell you can interact with him, and it's all good. So Mordenkainen is actually in 5th edition. So that's good. 5th season, Storm King's Thunder, it's a conflict that happens in the Forgotten Realms, in the Sword Coast most specifically, but there's actually some sort of clue there, or a hook. And let me show this to you real quick. There. You recognize that? That is actually a squid ship from the Spelljammer's storyline. In Storm King's Thunder, more specifically in Chapter 11, there's a ship that looks exactly like that, or very, very similar to that. Why is there a ship like that in Storm King's Thunder? In the Sword Coast? Why does that exist in the Forgotten Realms? These questions, it proves that there are other planes out there, and there are hooks that Wizards of the Coast can use to transition us from the Forgotten Realms to somewhere else. So a different storyline in a different plane. Season 6, The Yawning Portal, is literally just a compilation of the greatest adventures of D&D that has happened on different planes in the multiverse. Season 7, Tomb of Annihilation, Acererak travels to different planes. During his travels through the cosmos, he found something and unfortunately, he places it in the Forgotten Realms, more specifically in Chult, and now we have Death Curse. But one fun fact about this is that in Tomb of Annihilation, on the last chapter, there's one room that looks like, that displays the planets. There's this figures, circular figures, globes that looks like the sun, planets, circling out, and then celestial bodies of sorts. And it looks like a planetarium. Or actually, similar to the cover of Mordenkainen's Tome of Foes. And there's a great mechanic there that if you interact with one particular item in that room, something will happen that's related to what we're talking right now. So For the Dungeon Masters who are curious, it's room number 70 in Chapter 5. Check that out. So there you go. Well, what's going on here? So, from Season 1 up till now, as I said, the setting is in the Forgotten Realms, but the conflicts are mostly caused by something from a different plane. And this is probably what Mordenkainen was talking about when he discussed the great wars of the multiverse. And Dungeons and Dragons have prepared us, or Wizards of the Coast have prepared us all this time to transition from Forgotten Realms to a different storyline on a different plane. Or planes, for that matter. So, those are the speculations right now. If you have something else in mind, let me know. Leave it down in the comments. If I'm right, if I'm wrong, there's anything you want to add, leave a comment. I really want to see it. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe. And I'll see you soon. Let's wait Monday and see what the news are for Mordenkainen's Tome of Foes. Dungeon Master DMPaulG. Bye.